Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I'm here with Mr. Locario, the badass motherfucking boy of the dating gang. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on?
Doing good, man. Just, like I told you before, keeping busy and just happy to have you on the show again. It's been a while, and I'm just firing up these podcasts again after taking a little break. Like I've just kind of been doing like content creation, but, taking a break from the podcast. But it's nice doing this little one-on-ones because it brings more insight into the
Right,
discussion and everything.
right.
So, so today we want to talk to you about do you think women value looks over confidence? And the reason why I figured I brought this up because you just wrote a book called "Do Looks Really Matter?" Correct?
Yeah, looks don't matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the latest book. So yeah, it's basically called Looks Don't Matter: 7 Ways to Be More, to be attractive that have nothing to do with your looks. So basically, the book is funny because it's written really for all guys, but like it has two different like sort of uses. So the guys who think that they're not good looking, right? It's written for them to show them that the looks isn't the end all be all, but it also teaches them how to be attractive in all areas of your life. But then also it's written for the good looking guys, for those guys who they know, this is what a lot of good looking guys know. They know that there's times where their looks don't actually help them. So that book also teaches them why it doesn't help them, and also ways that they can also be attractive beyond their looks. You see what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
what it's about. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's kind of that's interesting. You brought it up. I'm kind of curious. So how would a guy's looks not help him? Is it like because like you can be a handsome, like attractive guy, but you can have like a crummy mindset? Is that what you mean by that, or like?
Yeah, because I actually have a whole chapter about that. How it's about how your looks can actually backfire on you. So basically, a lot of guys don't understand this. So, for example, like if you're talking like if a woman thinks that you're really good looking, right? She could be intimidated by the fact that you are good looking, and then she may not want to deal with you because of that. So there's going to be some girls who are going to be attracted to you physically and be sexually attracted to you because of that. But there are going to be some girls that you might want to get with, and because of your looks, she might be too intimidated to deal with you. So she's going to auto reject you. So auto rejecting is when somebody automatically rejects you without trying to make something happen. So guys do this. We do this all the time. So for example, if a guy goes to a party, he sees a girl across the room and he's like, oh man, she's so hot. She's a 10, whatever. And then he'll say to himself, man, I want to go approach her, but she's out of my league, or she probably has a boyfriend, or she isn't going to like a guy like me. So he automatically rejects himself before he even does anything because he thinks she's too hot. Women do the same thing. They see a guy, oh, he's good looking. He's a player. He probably got a girlfriend. He's gonna, break my heart. So I'm not gonna bother. So that's how it can backfire on you. Now, I talk about also when it comes to game of how you can sort of like maneuver around that. But that's like one example of how that can backfire on you in certain situations. You see what I'm saying? So yeah,
Okay.
that's how it goes.
So I mean, since I'm a handsome guy, because I mean, I have to like knock a few of my teeth out.
Nah, you gotta, you just gotta keep it, just get to the girls who are feeling you. That's all it is,
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, that's true. I never thought like girls would think that way about like attractive guys. I know guys. We talk about placing judgment on women. You see a girl and be like, okay, that girl's too beautiful for me. I didn't know girls can be judgmental like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, well, this guy is like handsome and stuff. He's in shape. He looks like a player or something. Like, I never thought about that.
Yeah, because girls also have egos too, and they don't want to get see. Like I always tell guys, a woman's rejection is after the fact, meaning after they have sex in general. Meaning our rejection is up front. We approach a girl, we talk to her, we try to get a number, we try to exchange numbers. She says no, I'm not interested, or whatever. A woman's rejection is usually after sex. So the guy has sex with her and then he never calls her again. The guy has sex with her and then he kind of falls off. So then what happens is if she sees that guy who's this super good looking dude, her assumption is, oh, he's a player, he's going to have more girls. So I'm going to not get with him just off the rip so I don't have to deal with the rejection afterwards. Now, this is not to say that women will see a guy who looks good and won't get with him and want to hook up with him. What I'm saying is the other side of the coin of she may resist because she doesn't want to get played. You see what I'm saying? And so that's kind of going on in her head too. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. Yeah, because she's probably been in that situation in her life before where she was with a handsome guy and like she got played by the guy, so therefore she's gonna project all that onto the guy that you see, right?
Right. Exactly. So that happens a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. Well, also I think that can come with your mindset too, because I know because when I'm mostly like I'm very direct with my intentions, especially like on the dating apps, and like some girls will automatically think just because of my forwardness that I'm a player.
You never know. That's what I'm saying. Like it's weird. Like a lot of guys don't think about that part of the situation of like, because this is the thing. Most dudes, they just want to like get a girl, get a date, hook up, get a girlfriend, whatever it is. So they're never thinking about the other side of the spectrum of women being intimidated, women being afraid of getting played or rejected. So they don't ever think about that side of the situation. And and the thing is, again, like a guy's looks, and sometimes even his confidence too. Sometimes you might be so confident that a woman is like, whoa, this guy is a little too much. You feel what I'm saying? And because of her insecurities, right?
And that has happened to me too, on a dating app. She's like, Rob, you're overconfident, so you're not my type. I just had to ask you this. I know she was this kind of thing, but she was direct with me because, I kind of even like to portray that because I think it helps you stand out a bit more. But yeah, I think sometimes too, like if you even the appearance of confidence, sometimes if you're too overly confident, like that can affect you as well. Because like then women have been with guys who've been overconfident, they got burnt by them or something. They really, well, this guy's so confident he can get any girl. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. So that happens too. It's crazy. So that's something dudes got to look out for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to this game. Just like. I always thought starting out, I always wanted to learn, like, I thought it was like the tactics, like the right words to say, but I realized there's a lot more to it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I failed to, it's funny because, like, when you're kind of focused, on just getting the girl and stuff, you don't kind of see that the girls have these same type of judgments that, you don't see that they're human because you put them on a pedestal. And
right, exactly. Yeah.
So that could be crazy. Now, question though, like, so I actually did I did a live stream with another guy. We basically talked about the same thing, but dude looks matter. And so, do you think like like the first impression when the guy is trying to go up there and meet, approach a girl on the street, do you think that matters? That look, how you come off as being confident, how you, maybe dress or something, and then like it's only to a point, but afterwards you kind of move into that once you can show the girl that you have like kick-ass mindset and that you're a normal guy, not a creeper.
Right. Well, I'll say this: well, I guess we got to differentiate between looks, because even in the book I talk about this. When I say looks, I'm talking about like how your face looks and how your body looks. So basically, like how you would look like naked. You understand everything about you, just like as far as without anything. That's what I say about looks. Because when people talk about looks, especially on the internet, and when they have these conversations, they're usually talking about your face structure, how your where your nose, eyes, mouth is, your jawline, and your muscles, and how your body looks, all that other stuff. So with that, the thing that you can most work on, you can work on your body, you can get fit, and that can sort of like thin out your face and stuff like that. But generally, you look how you look. So how I look is how I look, how you look. Like no matter what we do, we're never gonna look like each other. We just look totally different, right? But as far as appearance goes, that is when a person, like if a guy approaches a girl in the street, his appearance is more important than how good he looks. Meaning, so like, how is he dressed? Is his hair shaved? Does he smell good? Is his teeth white or whatever like that? Is he wearing a certain type of shoes or whatever? The way that he appears is gonna have more of an impact than just a guy just being good looking. You understand what I'm saying? Then also on top of that is how he interacts with the woman. You see what I'm saying? So the reason why this for a lot of guys is hard for them to understand is because for women, and this is also on a subconscious thing too, it's really just about how the woman feels in the interaction. Now, sometimes a woman could be physically attracted to a guy and then sexually attracted to him because of the way he looks, but it's the way she feels by being approached by this particular guy. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's just about the feeling. And the reason why I said the appearance is important, because the appearance makes a woman feel as if she can attract guys who who basically look like they're put together. So the same way where a guy will feel good about approaching a girl, and let's say he sees a girl who he thinks is like a 8 or 9 or 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, and he approaches her, he talks to her, they exchange numbers or whatever, he feels good. He's like, man, I was able to get that hot girl's number. The way women look at it is they say, okay, let's say a guy approaches her and he's wearing like a 3-piece suit, smelling good, looking like a businessman or whatever, looking like he makes a lot of money. He's in some corporate job. He got a bunch of stuff going on. If that guy approached her, she's going to say, wow, look at the type of guys that I attract. You see what I'm saying? That's so what happens is if you have a sloppy appearance, then she's going to feel like, damn, why am I attracting bums? You see what I'm saying? So when I tell guys, working on your appearance can help with approaching women and interacting with women, because they'll be more receptive to you because you seem like a guy who has the shit together, a guy who seems like he, is about something. Your whole entire presentation looks good versus you just being like, you could be a good looking dude, but, and this is another thing too, people don't get. Just because you look good doesn't mean you're that woman's type of good looking. You see what I'm saying? That's another thing people don't get. So, So for
breaking down the categories here.
Right, exactly. So if a woman could say, oh, this guy's handsome, but you might not be her type, which could cause her to not be sexually attracted to you, because you can be physically appealing to a woman, but not sexually appealing. So that also, goes into account too, meaning that a lot of guys think, well, if I'm a handsome guy, that's all I need. I can just approach any woman and she'll be receptive and want to get with me. That's not true, because even though you're a handsome guy, a girl may recognize you're handsome or think, oh, you're a handsome dude, but she doesn't feel anything for you because you're not her type of handsome. You're not the type of guy she would, actually go for. You understand what I'm saying? Now, in certain situations, if your game is tight, then maybe you can pull it off and make it happen. But there are times where a woman could see you but not feel anything because of the way you look. You see what I'm saying? So that's another thing.
Right, exactly. So you can kind of get her maybe with the looks at first, but say you're a guy that has no personality, confidence, sexual confidence and stuff. You're a guy who's just like boring and not going to excite her and make her all wet and tingly for you. I mean, you'll just either she'll just see you as a friend or she'll just kind of lose that desire, correct? Right,
exactly. Because the thing is, people see, and I wrote this in a book too, where I was talking about people mistake physical attraction for sexual attraction in all cases, which is not true. So meaning a woman could see you and think and say, like, I think this guy's handsome, but she may have no sexual desire for you. And on the flip side, she could see you and think you're handsome, but also have sexual desire for you because she's attracted to how you look, and that turns her on. But just because a woman likes the way you look doesn't always in 100% cases mean that she's sexually attracted to you, meaning that guys think if a woman thinks he looks good, that means that she wants him sexually, which is not true. So I try to tell guys that there's a difference between that. And so sometimes what happens is that, and this will happen too sometimes. Sometimes a woman might be initially attracted to you physically, and then she's like, okay, well, let me, we're talking, let me see how this guy is. And then when he talks, she's like, I don't really feel him because he's kind of corny. He's a little bit weird. So I'm not really feeling this dude. And then on the flip side, you might not be a woman's physical type, but she might be like, this guy's okay looking. But then your confidence, your behavior, all those things make her, more attracted to you because there's something about that vibe that you bring. So there's so many different situations and different circumstances that can cause a woman to be attracted to you, and then also on the flip side, cause a woman not to be attracted to you, no matter how you look. You know what I'm saying? So that's what dudes got to understand.
Where do you think guys, get in that mindset where they feel they gotta look, that they gotta look good looking in order to attract women, and they kind of forget about the mindset and everything? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, I was that guy too. I always thought okay, I had to have the right clothes and everything. I had to be a certain way, had to be a certain height. Where do you think they get that from? Besides some of the bad content that's up on YouTube, I mean, there's other stuff as well. Because I kind of had those ideals, before I ever going into the YouTube world.
Yeah, well, a lot of it too is just inexperience. You got to understand that most guys, a lot of guys who are inexperienced in the game, right? What happens is because they don't have the experience, they're going based off of what they think it might be, and they're only going based off of their male, sort of like experience. So if you're like, I'm a guy, I see a pretty girl, I want her because she's pretty. That's that. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually how it is for men. 99 something percent of the time, we see a girl, she looks good, we'll do her. You understand? It's kind of like what we're thinking.
Okay.
So we think that women are the exact same way. You see what I'm saying? And women
I hear you. Yeah,
right.
They don't understand like that women need a lot more than just external stimuli, because women like tend to be roused by their emotions and everything.
Right.
Guys don't understand that, and that's where you get this idea of where you got to look good, you got to have like all the money and everything. Otherwise, okay, she's not going to want nothing to do with you. You're going to be jerking off for the rest of your life.
Because like for example, like generally speaking, like for example, like there's always exceptions, but generally speaking, it doesn't matter what mood most men are in, we'll still have sex. Meaning, like, we could have had a bad day at work. You understand what I'm saying? We could have gotten into like, some issue. We could have lost some money, whatever the hell it is, and we're just pissed off. And then let's say, a girl that we, was hooking up with or dating or whatever, hit us up and said, hey, I want to come over and give you some head. And just relax, I'll give you some head. Most guys are going to be like, man, I'm just really not in the mood for head. Like, we'll just take it. We're like, hell yeah, come through, give me head, and I'm good. Women, on the other hand, and there's times where they're just not in the mood. So because they're not in the mood, they're not going to be able to like do it. You understand what I'm saying? Or be they're not going to be in that like sort of basically mood to make it happen, right? And so that's just a simple thing of how men and women are generally different, where we're sort of like, our mood doesn't necessarily affect us trying to make sex happen. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I've had a bad day. If I'm fucking tired,
like we don't give a fuck.
When a girl come over, I get hard like that. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're like, hey, let's make it happen. But for women, it's like they gotta feel the feels for it to be good. Like, they can still probably like pull it off if they like push themselves to do it, but generally they want to be in that mood and feel good to make that happen. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a different thing. So for a lot of guys, the reason why they're confused is because they are thinking women respond to us the same exact way we respond to them, which is not true. So, because if it was true, dudes would be getting laid left and right. You see what I'm saying? But that's not the case, because guys generally hook up with the women they can hook up with. Women generally hook up with the guys they want to hook up with. You see what I'm saying? That's usually what happens. You see what I mean?
Yeah, right. No, that's true. Yeah, no, it's just crazy. It's not. Now, here's another scenario. So, is there now? I know you've always mentioned too that we're going to go switch into the realm of online dating. Now, do you think, like, because you always mentioned that's where women tend to look, looks come first, right?
Right.
Now, do you have something in your book about that at all, or like?
Well, the thing with online dating is, you got to understand, online dating, you don't need, even with online dating, you don't have to be the best looking guy. You have to have the best pictures. You understand? You got to have really good pictures, but you don't have to be the best looking dude. The funny part is that a guy who isn't even that great looking, he's an average looking dude with really great pictures, will do way better than even a good looking dude who has shitty pictures in most cases. You understand what I'm saying? And what I mean is this: the reason why is because what happens is that in online dating, it's about marketing. You understand? So you have to market yourself a certain way to catch the eye. You see what I mean? And so what happens is, if a guy's good looking, he'll have matches, because women are like, oh, he's good looking, he's cute, let me swipe right on him, right? But if you're the guy who's the average dude, but your pictures are on point, meaning that you're dressed well in your pictures, the pictures are high quality, you have some pictures that make you seem interesting, you're going to get basically a lot of matches the same way as that good-looking guy would be able to get the matches. You see what I mean?
No, I agree with you on that, because like I used to use like generic photos, but I found this awesome guy, a photographer who's from Austria and everything, very local man. He was very good with the camera angles and stuff, and he's very good at the Photoshop. And I remember I went to him back in like 2018 for some photos. Like,
Right.
once I had that, my online dating, world changed. But I still had to, even though I was getting the numbers, we still had to have the game to like kind of meet
Exactly, and that's
girls
what I'm
on
about to
the
say
apps
too.
and
Because
everything.
even if you match, the matching is just the surface level. That's the superficial part. But it's the actual. Do you have the skills to be able to communicate to a woman to get her off the site to come meet you? And the thing is that that's why a lot of this goes hand in hand. Where it's like, see, for guys, again, we think, okay, this girl looks good. I'm gonna go get her. So then we think, okay, if this guy looks good, then women are just gonna jump on him. Now there are times where that happens. I'm not saying that it doesn't. What I'm saying though is that for a guy, he generally needs the whole entire thing in order for him to have massive success. And the reason why that is because a woman generally gets a lot of guys trying to get at her. So she has to make a choice. So she can't do everybody. She can't go out with everybody. You understand what I'm saying? So even if the girl's on Tinder, she could have swiped right on 15, 20, match with 20 dudes today who all look good, right? So if all of them look good, then what's going to separate all these good-looking guys? You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing that is what else do they have? Do they have a tight mouthpiece? Do they know how to communicate? Do they know how to set a date? You understand? It's like all these things that happen after the looks or beyond the looks. You see what I'm saying? And it's the funny part. A guy who isn't as good-looking as those guys, he'll probably get her on a date quicker because he just knows how to get her off the site. You see what I'm saying? So this is the thing that I try to tell guys is like, you can't like coasting on your looks is like, unless you're the type of person, unless you're the type of guy who, let's say for example, you look like some male model type of dude or whatever, coasting on your looks, you know what I'm saying, isn't really going to help that much. And even for that guy, what's going to happen is like I said, if he's not the type for that woman, or he meets a woman who's not impressed by his looks, then that's not the big thing. If he wanted that girl, he would still need to know how to interact with her to get her to be more interested in him. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's still a thing where you want to be able to have your game on point in all these different aspects. You see what I'm saying?
Right. No, I hear you on that. It's funny you bring that up because, like, a lot of these girls that I have met on the apps, they always complain how it's so hard to navigate the dating apps. Because, like, this one girl actually said she canceled her account because she couldn't handle talking to all the people and everything.
Right.
So I know what you say, but yeah, you definitely have to, like, you got to stand out. Like, you have to go looking pictures. And that, and I tend to be very just direct, straight to the point. I kind of like I learned from you and Steve, just kind of like set up the day within the or go for a number. And I pretty much, have the experience now to tell if someone's going to waste my time or not. But it's even weird because sometimes, like, I've gotten numbers, and some of these girls, like, they've been weird. Like, this one girl got mad because I didn't message her right away. Like, we were messaging in the evening, but I just got like so busy during the day. And then I had a date going on. And right before a date, I saw a message like, I like it. How come you're not messaging me back and everything? And so the funny thing was, when I went to go message her back, we were making some plan and stuff. And then she started getting like all weird or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're gonna meet a bunch of weird chicks. You're gonna have women that they're gonna be playing games. So it's like all those things come into play regardless. Like because you can get a bunch of matches on Tinder or all these sites and still, have to deal with all the back and forth and all that other stuff. So, just because a woman matches you because you think she's cute doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna meet that girl, or doesn't necessarily mean that girl is gonna be a good match for you in dating. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm going to say, and I'm sure you would recommend this too. I mean, as you kind of excel on, with the approaching and the online stuff, you're going to realize too, like, you're not even going to want to deal with those girls who are going to waste your time and everything. And like, I even don't like have time for one word fucking responses from girls.
Right.
That's of course that, I can tell. It's weird because I can calibrate, the interest. Like, and sometimes you have to think maybe that girl's getting a lot of, messaging a lot of guys. So yeah, but I think if I get like I keep getting 1 or 2 word answers, I just kind of, I'm just gonna set up the date. If she still gives me shit, okay, goodbye. But and then you're gonna, even though some of these people you're gonna get numbers from, and then you're gonna talk to them, and like their personality is not gonna be there, or it's
Right,
compatible.
exactly. That's facts. That's true.
So, but definitely, for guys though, that looks is definitely like the first thing that they kind of look for in a woman too, right?
Right.
And then it's like, then they have to realize, because we all want to have sex with women we're attracted to, but then I think it boils down to like having the personality clicking between you and the girl too. Like they'll realize that after a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you think.
But. Yeah, and the thing is too is that but a lot of guys don't get it is like, okay, even see what's interesting is most dudes just think about interacting with women from the standpoint of getting to sex, right? Which, in certain situations you want casual sex, you're not wrong with that. The problem though is that there's times where you, let's say, hooked up with a girl and but you realize you like her. So now you're like, damn, I actually like this girl. I want to see her again. I want to keep this going, whatever it is like that. And this happens more often than not. You feel what I'm saying? And so the problem though is that if a guy doesn't actually know how to maintain the situation, he doesn't know how to, keep it consistent, keep it interesting and stuff like that, he's not going to be able to maintain that situation. So even when you have guys who, like I said, coast off their looks, let's say they got a girl that hooked up with them because she was sexually attracted to him because of the way he looked, she might hook up with him. And then that guy is like, man, I want to see her again. And then she sort of falls off because there wasn't anything about him but outside of his looks that made her interested in him. So then it's sort of short-lived. And that's because, he hasn't worked on himself overall to be the type of guy that's interesting to women. You see what I'm saying? And so, so what happens is that he limits himself based off of the looks. This is why sometimes like a guy who, certain women would consider a good-looking guy, or he thinks he's a good-looking dude, and he's getting girls because of that, he's able to initially get the chicks, but he's not able to maintain it in a long-term situation because he's not that type of guy. It's just like, like how, and also it adds to women assuming he's a player, he's, a fuck boy, whatever it is like that. It's the same concept of when guys go out and they meet a girl who they think, let's say like you go to a bar, you see a girl with a short skirt, she's got a boobs popping out and shit, you know what I'm saying? And so you think, oh, this girl, she's a slut or whatever. And then you'll like, I'll hook up with her, but then you don't take her seriously. So a lot of guys think that way. They're like, oh, she's just, she's one of these dots, she's loose, whatever. I'll hook up with her once, but I'm not taking her seriously. Women also think that way about guys, especially the good looking dudes. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, oh, he's good looking, I'm sexually attracted to him because of the way he looks. I'll get with him. I'll probably hook up with him. But then after that, she doesn't take him seriously because she sees him as like, he's basically like the male version of the slut. So now if you're that guy, imagine you're that guy and you actually like want a girlfriend or you want a wife or something, you want a long-term situation, but you're not able to get that because the perception of you is the guy that just gets tossed around. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of dudes who there's dudes out there who've experienced this, and they're like, damn, like they they can hook up with girls, but then they want something more when they actually find girls they like, and they realize that they don't know how to keep that around. You see what I'm saying? So that also happens. Yeah.
Damn. No, that's crazy. I would not think a girl would only like not want to be in a relationship with a guy because he thinks he like sticks around and stuff. But but it's got to be some of the personality though, like that. But you can still project confidence in that personality and like not.
Like if you're a confident dude and you're on point and you're then that'll make her see you as a different guy. Like, okay, this guy he's good looking and he's this. The problem is most guys who coast on their looks, who are good looking, right? It's the same thing with women where you have really good looking women who are like guys would consider like 10s and all that other stuff. You meet those women and they don't really have a lot going for them because they've been coasting on their looks also. So when you're easily attracting the opposite sex based off of how you're physical, then you usually don't have to develop as much of the personality and all this other stuff to attract. So what happens is you're attracting, but you're not able to maintain or keep a situation because you don't have any depth to you. So a lot of times when guys coast off their looks, if you have this good looking guy, whatever, he may not necessarily have that depth that's going to make the woman want to continue to see him. And on top of all of the other preconceived notions she has of that dude based off of how he looks. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy how that happens, because even for a guy who looks good, sometimes, unfortunately, you know, there's higher expectations for that guy too. So the fact is that, like, let's say if he acts in a way where he's, you know, a little bit insecure, a little bit, you know, needy or whatever it is, that's going to make him look even worse, because the perception is, why would this good looking guy be acting needy? Why would this good looking guy be insecure? So that's going to make him look even worse to the woman, which makes him unattractive at that point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is guys can't fuck up. They got to be consistent with their personality. They can't even slip once, because the woman will view them differently. I mean, is there certain circumstances?
Right, I'm saying that, yeah, the women already have a high expectation because they're good looking. So now, so that's what I'm saying, where if they're the type of guy who's good looking and insecure, good looking and nervous, good looking and needy, that's going to work against him, because the perception that she has of him is that he already has all his shit together. He's on point. Everything's supposed to be up here. You understand what I'm saying? As far as perceiving him in that way, even if she's perceiving him as just like this player fuckboy guy, the cocky arrogance is what she expects. So if he's not that, you understand what I'm saying? That makes him look worse, because he's not what she expected, because the expectation of it is right. You see what I'm saying? It's like one of those things where, unfortunately, people already have these preconceived notions of how they think you're going to be based off of how you look. You see what I'm saying?
Right, oh, your camera fell. Oh my God. No, but I understand I see what you're talking about. I know you've mentioned this before too, because, like, when I was kind of, on my journey and stuff, sometimes I make mistakes, and I slip off, but I realized that was the problem, because I had this, I portrayed this personality and everything, but then when I fell off my square, that made the women look at me different. She's like, okay, wait, and that's like a learning thing that most guys have to learn. But no, I definitely agree with you on that. I can see that, because that just ruins the image that she has of you. Right. I mean, you're going around being this confident guy, you're like this and that, but then next thing you know, you're like crying like a fucking baby or some shit like that. Right. You get like that can really ruin your perception, and that's really something you got to be aware of. And like, even I try to, like, when I got shit going on in life, I really try to keep that to myself, or like my mentor and stuff, rather than just go to, like, a girl I'm seeing for that. Right. I like to keep it fun. I don't want to keep it drama, Only good sexual drama, though. Right. That's real shit. But no, that's interesting. That's an interesting thing that you just said, because I can just, like, I can get that perception, just like just ruins everything. And basically what we talked about in the last 10 minutes, it seems like this look thing goes back and forth too. The guys and the girls. It's an interesting dynamic. And I think a lot of the guys just fail to see that, okay, girls, think this way too, and have all these things just like we do. All these perceptions and judgments and everything. Why do you think that is? Like, do you think because guys are just placing women on a pedestal and not realizing that they're human like us? Yeah, because remember, we're coming at it from a perspective of, like, we're pursuing them, we're feeling the rejection. We know how much attention women get, so there's going to be this pedestalization of women from men, because most men are like, well, I want to get the hottest girl. I have this idea of the hot girl, the dream girl that I want, and all this other stuff. And then so our attraction to women generally off the rip, is just the looks base. You understand? It's like, okay, well, she looks this way, I want her, end of story. And I'm going to keep wanting her regardless. Like, she'd have to do something insane for me not to want her, type of situation. And so we think that that's the same thing for a guy. So a lot of guys also idolize good-looking dudes, because they think that those guys have it made. This is why you have all these, like, channels on YouTube dedicated to looking at guys' looks
and they talk about looks maxing or gym maxing and all this other crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, I remember the terminology I used to hear like over the past couple of years with the Chads and Tyrones.
Yeah, exactly.
Over the
Chads,
calling
Tyrones,
and
all that other
complaining about
crazy
that.
stuff. Yeah, and so guys are looking up to that because in their mind, if you look this way, then you know everything when it comes to dealing with women is going to be super easy. But also too, for them, for a lot of these guys, they have it so bad that they want just even a little bit of that attention. So it goes from it's weird, it's deep because it goes from just like the actual wanting of a woman to to validation from a woman. So a lot of guys want to look good because they want validation. You see what I'm saying? So it goes even beyond just the sex. It's like I even want women to look at me. I want women to think I'm sexy. I want women to think I'm cute. I want women to say I'm handsome. It gets to that point because a lot of these guys feel like they're invisible. You feel what I'm saying? They feel like no woman is going to want them. They feel like they can never be able to get the type of hot girl that they want. You see what I'm saying?
It's all a mindset thing,
right?
Which I realized, from, I didn't realize I was doomed. I realized it was like a mindset thing, and because watching when I first stumbled upon your channel back in, I think it was like 2017. One of the things I really liked about you is like the mindset thing because it made me think more. Because I always thought like, okay, you had like the game was true game was all about like I said earlier in the show, the tactics, saying the right things. It's building a connection with the girl and stuff. But I didn't realize, even though I was going out there and doing that, I didn't realize there's like my mindset was off, and that was holding me back. And that's something I, have been working on these past couple of years and continue to work on because that's really important.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, a lot of guys don't understand how deep it can get. Meaning, they're thinking on surface level things of looks, right? But when they're talking to an individual woman, right? They need to ask themselves, who is this woman in relation to who I am? And can this be a situation where we would have a connection or some type of chemistry between us? And so that goes deeper than just the way you look. Because, for example, let's say you have a woman who is a good-looking woman. She gets offers from all types of guys and all of that. So to her, having a good-looking guy is not an event. It's not like this amazing thing to her because she can get a good looking dude. She's had good looking dudes. That's whatever, right? So let's say, for example, you have a woman who the main thing that she actually is yearning for is somebody that actually gives a fuck about her. Like he loves her, he likes her, he cares about what she has to say, he's interested in what she does in life and all this other stuff. And so she meets a guy who's just a regular looking dude, but he's not like a supermodel or whatever. But they're talking, they're interacting with each other. She's having fun with him. He makes her laugh. She's like, oh my God. And then she starts to like this guy and get attached to his energy and his presence because there's something about him that makes her feel those feelings because whatever she's looking for, he has all that. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what makes her gravitate to him. So a lot of guys they look at it on the surface level of looks because they've never actually been in any type of, long-term relationship. They never really had a girl who really, really liked them. They never had a woman who showed them through her words and actions how she feels about the guy. Like they never been through those things. So all they understand is surface level things, and then it goes right back to the surface level of, oh, well, if you're a good looking dude, then women are going to want you, and that's the end all be all. And it's like they're not looking at it from all of these different perspectives and these different situations and understanding. Because what's funny to me is this: the amount of guys that women, encounter in general, just on a general day, general week, general month, or whatever. It's lots of guys who want to get with these women, right? So now most guys don't understand that perspective, meaning that if you have all these guys trying to get with women, it can't just be about the looks because the looks aren't anything that's rare. You understand what I'm saying?
There's a ton of that. There's tons of
exactly.
There's tons of good looking women out there.
Exactly. It's a lot of it. So it's not anything that's special. And the fact that she can attain that also makes it not special because it's something that it's like I always tell people this. think about anything that you do in your everyday life that you have access to that's not really that special because you have access to it. Now you like it, you might need it, but it's not like I feel like most people, let's say for example in the United States, who live in a house or who live in a you know, a city or whatever it is, can go buy a bottle of water or fucking, you know, take some water out of their sink and, you know, put it in a filter or whatever, but they have access to water. So you don't get up every morning thinking about, oh my God, how am I going to get water? Do I have enough water? Like you don't ever think about it. It's not even a thought in your mind. So if a woman has an abundance, right, if a woman has an abundance of good looking dudes, you know what I'm saying? That's trying to hit her up on Tinder, Instagram, Facebook, all this other stuff. Why would that be special anymore? It's not.
Right. I think he made an analogy like this the other day on his show about like women eating the same bologna sandwich every day.
Right, exactly.
Like I remember that.
It's the same thing. Now, what's not the same, what is rare, is something that she doesn't have every day, something that she doesn't experience all the time. Right, is got a guy who she's interested in, who is also interested in her beyond sex, because she knows all the guys are interested in her because of sex. But how many guys are interested in her beyond sex? You understand what I'm saying? How many guys is she interested in beyond just the surface? You see what I'm saying? And so that's the thing where that's rare. And see, if you're a guy who's on point, whose game is tight, who understands himself, who understands his value, you're this dude, right? You're going to be the type of guy who's rare to a lot of women you encounter. And so they're going to feel much more of an impact dealing with you that is way deeper than just the way you look. This is why I always try to tell guys. This is why you can see women, you know, out with guys, and guys see this all the time. You see a really hot girl with an average looking dude. You're like, damn, how the hell he got her? And then dudes, they'll probably be like, oh, he probably got money. Like they'll come up with all these fucking.
I got a funny story about that. Like, it's funny you brought that up because it reminds me of this time. There, like, so I tell you, I run these meetup events and everything, and like I go out with the people, you know, from my group, and I'm not doing them. We're out at the bar one time. One of the guys I was with, you know, was a big, rich guy in shape and everything.
Right.
And he saw this gorgeous blonde with this ugly guy. He's like, I can't believe an ugly guy is with her. And this was the same guy because he knows about my pockets and everything. I don't watch podcasts. He even asked me one day, Robert, how do I get women with my money? I'm the one that's like, just go get a prostitute.
Right. I'm telling you, it's crazy, man. Like, you know, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like people don't understand that there's so much deeper to all of this stuff. And so when people just look at it on the surface, that's when they come up with things like, oh, well, it's all about looks and it's all about your money and it's all about this. And it's like, yeah, you're saying that because you're looking only on the surface. And what you got to understand is that people as individuals, men and women, right, we're deeper than just that one thing. Like, even for example, like if again you see a guy that's an average looking dude and you have this really hot woman obsessed with him. And there's so many reasons why she could be obsessed with him. Like, he tapped into something in her mind, in her soul, that makes her feel attached to him. Or his dick game might be crazy. Like, you understand what I'm saying? He hollered at her, they interacted with each other, and the sex is like the best sex she ever had. And she's like, this is the best sex I've ever had in my life from this average dude. You understand what I'm saying? This average looking guy.
And you're right. I think a lot of people, like, I mean, they kind of look at the external. Like, they'll see like a hot girl with a hotter guy or something, or like with an ugly guy, but they don't know what is it about that guy that turned on. They automatically think like, well, the ugly guy is just giving her money, and the hot guy, Chad or Tyrone, is like in the girl because it's Chad and Tyrone, Yet they don't realize that there's more to it and everything. And like, that's what I've learned. There is like, once you kind of develop your mouthpiece and you become more authentic with women, and you learn how to communicate with them based on your standards instead of like learning from what you've learned from the PUA stuff. Like, I realize how that can have an impact on a woman, and I've had that impact on some women. So I know what you're talking about.
Right, that's facts. That's real shit.
And they just gotta like I think, like I said, I think a lot of guys like are just like, they need to be able to be open-minded to that, because like if they're not open-minded to that, like they they're never going to change, and they're always going to think it's always about looks and stuff.
Right.
I mean, I know some people too, like, I mean, who kind of work at talking to girls, but they said, well, those type of girls will only date these type of guys, like the rich guys. But like, and I know I gotta filter that out because I just know that's just like their perception of things. And yeah, sure, there may be some girls out there like that, but if you continue to go out there and like just kind of like push yourself to talk to attractive girls and stuff, you're gonna eventually find the ones that you click with. And I think a lot of guys just don't want to deal with that, rejection or do whatever it takes to do that, and therefore like they just remain in their fixed mindset.
Right, exactly. Because you know what it is. It's simpler. It's simpler to think about it this way. It's simpler to say, well, these type of girls only gonna like these type of guys. I'm not like those type of guys, so I'm not gonna get with these type of girls. And these, women only like these good-looking dudes that are this way, this way, and this way. Since I'm not this way and this way and this way, then I can't get. And it's like they're coming up with all of these stories in their mind, but they're not actually out there in real life interacting with women. Now, see, this is the thing. It's better to go out there, right, and take action basically, and see what that action can bring you, and then from that you say, okay, I see what's going on out here. This is what I experienced, and so forth and so on. Because the funny part is that if most guys actually really took action, and when I say take action, I mean like really be consistent, go out there, interact with people, study the game, like basically improve your appearance, improve your mouthpiece, do all these things, you're going to actually get a certain like results that you didn't think were possible. But now you're going to see it's possible because you actually put yourself out there. And the problem is most of these guys don't bother to learn anything and don't bother to put themselves out there. And they sit and just theorize about what they think is going to happen versus what could actually happen if they actually went out there.
Right. Yeah. And, one thing I've realized too, like, just kind of, being in the game and learning it, like, I mean, you're going to have your ups and downs. And when you go through the down points, you got to be strong enough to like deal with all the bullshit, like, and just kind of go out there and push no matter what.
Right.
And I think like a lot of guys, when they continue to hit those down points all the time, they just kind of like give up and stuff. And I think like a lot of it has to do is because like I've learned this is like you got to look like you got to look at how you're doing things. You may be repeating some of the same behaviors, having the same nervous reactions during your interactions and everything. And so a lot of it's just because you're repeating the same patterns and they fail to realize that.
Right.
You just got to continue to do it until it kind of overcome that.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing that a lot of guys, they repeat the same nonsense because they're not willing to learn from their mistakes and actually improve. So instead of learning from the mistakes, they say, well, look, this doesn't work. And they'll be like, end of story. That's all it is. And I'm like, but you're not actually like learning anything from your situation. You're not actually like trying to improve. And it's funny because it's weird because there's a lot of guys who have this sort of mentality that things aren't going to work out. Like it's not going to work out for them. Like they're so special that they're the only one in the world that it can't work out for. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it's funny because you have all these examples of how it can work. But what happens is that people want to rationalize the reason why it can't work so that they don't have to work it. So it's the same thing where if they see a guy, they'll be like, oh, it's all about looks. And I'm like, well, what about this guy? He's not like, a male model, but he has a good looking girlfriend or whatever. Oh, it's because he has money and blah, blah, blah. So they got to come up with an excuse as to why that happens instead of noticing, look, if this guy can do it, you can do it too, right? They have to come up with some excuse to like, rationalize why they can't do it. It's crazy.
Right. No, I hear it's weird because sometimes when I go through my down points, like I have those same rationalization things, but I just have to like focus. I have to think about all the the successes that I have, and that kind of gets me on practice.
Right.
And I'm kind of I'm glad I don't like get every single girl because I'd fucking be too busy to make money and shit. I'd be poor. I'd be spending all my money on dates and stuff like that. So. That's how you just got to, like I said, like, it's all a process. It's like a stock market, ups and downs. Like, you have a few months where it's down and then it goes back up. But the important thing is you got to fucking keep on grinding and going regardless.
Right.
And that's I guess that's the key to it. Having success in the game, and I think it's like like you and Steve always talk about. It's always like you're constantly growing too, and learning new things and stuff like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, I just want to any final words to sum up the topic we were talking about today.
Yeah. So last thing I'll say too is just this, man. I think people, I think guys actually need to, improve themselves as the best to their ability. Don't think you need to be the best looking dude ever, because you can't. There's only so far you can take your looks. Like, how you look is how you look. You understand? If you're a 5'9" Asian dude, you understand what I'm saying? There's nothing you're gonna do to make yourself, look like Channing Tatum. It's not gonna happen. Like, you can just look like a better version of the 5'9" Asian dude. You see what I'm saying? Like,
we got to so guys have to learn how to accept who they are and what they look like. And, like, I think I think a lot of us we compare. I'm sorry to interrupt your conclusion, but
go ahead. Good.
I think like we just kind of compare ourselves to others, and we think, well, we have to be like them or look like them to have that.
Right.
When I think that only like tears our self-esteem down, and when we learn to accept ourselves, like we just don't give a fuck. We're not going to, because we think, well, I can't talk to this girl because I'm no fucking Chad with 500-pound muscles and shit like that.
Exactly.
Because when you're saying that, you're saying to yourself that you're not good enough as a guy. But if you learn to accept yourself and realize, okay, this is how I am, and then just kind of say to yourself, you're a fucking handsome motherfucker,
Right.
And like I think you will project that confidence a lot more, and you won't and it won't, because like if you can say that you're not good looking enough stuff, that's going to show when you have your interaction with women. I mean, you always talk about energy and stuff, and that will show. But when you show that you are comfortable with who you are, and you're not placing judgments on yourself and the woman, I mean, that's going to help you project that confidence when you're talking with them.
Right, exactly. And again, that's what I'm saying, is that I think what guys can do to really improve this situation is understand that they can go out there and get what they want. You understand? The problem is that you have to figure out what you want and focus on it to get it, and not worry about what everybody else is thinking and saying, and trying to get what they say you should want. And this is what's the issue with a lot of people. Like, people are trying to get what everybody else is saying that they should want, instead of thinking about what they actually want and go get that. So we're trying to do things based off of what society's saying, based off of what your friends are saying, based off of what the new hot thing is or whatever. And so we're trying to go after that versus asking ourselves, well, is that what I really want? Is that what I'm really about? And then take a step back and say, okay, what am I really about? What do I really want? What type of women do I want? What type of relationships do I want? What type of situation do I want? And then figure that out, and then go for that. And the thing is, you can get that. You just have to work to go get it, and understand that it's possible for you to get it. But if you have this mindset of, oh, well, only this can happen for these type of people, and if I don't look this way, if I don't have this, if I don't have that, then you're going to always be in the same defeatist loop, and nothing is going to ever change for you. You're just going to be in the same spot, and you're going to be pissed off, angry, frustrated, and upset that you're not getting what you want. So it just is what it is, And
you're going to start an angry YouTube channel where you talk about how bad women are.
Exactly. Right.
Well, I definitely agree with you. And I just have to say, yeah, like you said, like, yeah, definitely, you can be good looking, but I think in the end, like, I think the personality is good. It's going to outshine the looks, because I think, like, the woman's got to be able to see more substance in the guy rather than just the looks. I mean, I should probably get bored out of her fucking mind if you were just a lame, like, guy with no game and couldn't please her sexually or, stimulate her emotions. So, I definitely agree that's important. So, like, try to, like, develop your own authentic self and be you. Still dress fucking sexy, your style and everything. So, yeah, definitely. And, I want to thank you for coming on the channel, and let our viewers know where they can find your book, and, where they can find you on YouTube and everything. And
Yeah, so definitely go to get my book, Looks Don't Matter. Go to mrlocario.com and you can get a copy of it there. So it's an ebook. You can just, download it and check it out. Also, make sure you guys go to badboymembership.com. That's where you get 45 to 90-minute audio and video dating advice tutorials that I drop every month. Also, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Mr. Locario to join the Patreon. That's where I do my Bad Boy show. Make sure you check that out. And also every Sunday at noon, we do a show called Real Game No Theory with myself, Steve Dedeen, Miles Cunningham, Kay Zaggin, 1950, Angry Man, and Taekwondo. So, yeah, so make sure you guys check that out.
Yeah, definitely a great show. I catch it every Sunday. I wake up Monday sometimes. I mean, Sunday mornings a little hungover just to catch it and everything. While I'm working on my web design project, I always have to, listen to the show. And,
Right.
like these guys are like all authentic in what they talk about. That's what I really like about the show and everything. And that's why I like Locario so awesome. So thank you very much for coming on the show, Locario. I look forward to having you on again.
Yes, sir.
And,
appreciate you.
And be sure, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, right, at Command Your Confidence. And you can go to my website. You can get my book, The 5 Pillars of Self-Confidence. And I offer life coaching. So thank you very much. And we will catch you on the next stream. Rock on, motherfuckers.